All right, and we're back. So, we are looking at the city of David at Jerusalem, right? And I believe we left off at First Maccabees 12 and 36. I'm going to read that again. Um, and making the walls. I'll start from 35. After this came Jonathan home again, and calling the elders of the people together, he consulted with them about building strongholds in Judea, right? So this is during the Greek Empire. Judas Maccabees had defeated the Greeks and set some of them to tribute, and we rededicated the temple and we refortified the city, and we're about to read about that because this is the temple that we call Tel Arad. And making the walls of Jerusalem higher, and raising a great mount between the tower and the city, for to separate it from the city, that so it might be alone, that men might neither sell nor buy. So when you look at this map, you see the number 570, 576, 560, 550. These numbers represent altitude or the height of the mountain. So they raised up a great heap, separating the higher city or the temple or the towers of the temple from the lower city, because the lower city was always known as a great center for trade, right? So here's the lower city, full of houses and markets and altars and grinding mills. I've chilled in this lower city and prayed many times. I've got much footage of it that I will be posting later. I'm just waiting on the footage to get back from the elder brother Eugene in the UK. He's going to send me the footage. So, but you see the number 576, 570. As you go more north, the numbers get higher because they raised up a mount in between to separate the towers from the lower city. So this is what we're reading about in First Maccabees 12. And making the walls of Jerusalem higher, and raising a great mount between the tower and the city, for to separate it from the city, that so it might be alone, that men might neither sell nor buy in it. And we know the tabernacle of David is holy. You know, it's where the Most High has his eyes at all time. You know, he loveth the gates of Zion better than all the dwellings of Jacob. We're going to quote that scripture later. But for now, let's get back to this floor plan, because this floor plan is the key, right? And I'm going to maximize that so you can see it, right? As you see the 10th century, time of David, then you go from the 9th to the 6th century, which is from the time of Solomon and Rehoboam all the way to the time of Hezekiah and Isaiah. But we're reading about, when we read in Nehemiah, that was the 4th and 5th century during the Persian Empire. But let's go to let's go to the time of Solomon in the 9th century, right? You see this right here? It says outer water conduit and reservoirs. What is this? Well, let's find out. Let's go to 1 Kings 1 and 33, right? We're going to go to the time of Solomon and David, right? You see, what is that? What is that all about, right? Those water reservoirs, right? So David is an old man, right? We're in 1 Kings, so David is pretty much on his deathbed, right? And King David said, call me Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada. And they came before the king. And the king also said unto them, take with you the servants of your Lord, and call Solomon my son to ride upon my own mule, and bring him down to Gihon. And let Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anoint him there king over Israel. And blow ye the trumpet and say, God save King Solomon. So David gave a commandment to the priests, Nathan and Zadok. What did he command him? Bring his son Solomon down to Gihon. What is Gihon? Gihon is one of the 4 rivers that make up the Garden of Eden. So what are we looking at? We are looking at, before it was a mountain there before the flood, this was the Garden of Eden. These reservoirs right here, this is the reservoir water that goes down to Gihon that waters the entire city of Arad. This is the holy, so-called holy water that's going to gush out from the east side of the temple, which is on this side. You read about that in Zechariah and Ezekiel. But Solomon was brought right in this area next to Gihon, which is right here, and anointed king right here. Right? So Solomon was anointed king in this area. And these are the reservoirs for the Gihon waters that used to water the front of the city, but that changed during the time of Hezekiah. We're going to read about that. Let's go to, what is it? 2 Chronicles 32 and 30. Now we're going to skip to the time of Hezekiah and Isaiah. 2 Chronicles 32 and 30. Right? Okay. This same Hezekiah, well, we'll go to start at verse 29. Moreover, he provided him cities and possessions of flocks and herds in abundance, for God had given him substance very much. This same Hezekiah also stopped the upper watercourse of Gihon and brought it straight down to the west side of the city of David. And Hezekiah prospered in all his works. So, he stopped the water from watering Jerusalem on the east and brought it to the west side of the city of David. See, it's showing you the course of the water during the time of Hezekiah. And this water came down and watered the entire city of David. It used to go east and water the whole Jerusalem, but it came west. He rerouted it and stopped it and called this and began to water the city of David. That's where the water of the well came during the time of Christ, which is where the people were being healed, and the fountain, and all of that watered this area, because before that, it used to water the rest of Jerusalem and Bethlehem and all of that. But the Most High stopped it, and the place where it used to shoot out, that's where they call it the Dragon Gate. Why do they call it the Dragon Gate? Because nothing lives there now but dragons. Dragons in this context in the scriptures are lizards, right? So the Dragon Gate, which is where the water used to shoot out, but during the time of Hezekiah, he changed it to water the west side of the city of David. You see that? And as you can see that, showing you that this way is north, this way is west, this way is east, this way is south. So it's the west side of the city of David. And as you can see that, that's clear according to Scripture. So now, getting back to where we are, let's see how much time I have left. Where is my recorder? Am I still recording? Alright, and we're back. So now we want to break down this whole let's break down Amos 9, because I'm hearing a lot of Hebrew camps when they read Amos 9 and 11, the tabernacle of David. They say that that's the 12 tribes. Or when they read Zion and Joel, they're saying that that's the people. Zion is the people. In some instances, yes, Zion is the people. But when you go to Joel chapter 2 and you read, let's get that. Joel chapter 2. And you read the word Zion, right? This is very, very important. It says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion. All the Hebrew camps say, yeah, we got to go to the hood where Jacob is at. Yeah, we got to be around here at home, comfortable, where we can, go home at the end of the day. No, this is a place. When it says blow ye the trumpet in Zion, how do we know it's a place? Well, let's read on. And sound an alarm in my holy mountain. That's simple, right? But all the camps love to teach that this is a place. But no, Zion is a place, right? And I'm going to skip down to show something even more important about this place, Zion, while we don't need to be ignoring this place, right? Verse 15, it says, blow the trumpet in Zion. This is a place. How do we know it? Well, let's see. Sanctify, fast, call a solemn assembly. So we got to gather the people. That's what assembly means, a gathering at Zion, right? Verse 16, it tells you again, gather the people, sanctify the congregation, assemble the elders, gather the children and those that suck the breast. Let the bridegroom go forth of his chamber and the bride out of her closet. Let the priests, the ministers of the Lord, you Levites, you brothers from South Africa, you brothers from Ghana and Ivory Coast, you Akan tribes, you Twi-speaking people, the brothers in Zimbabwe, you people from Tanzania, you are the priest of the Lord, right? The brothers in Haiti, you are the priests of the Lord. Some of you brothers down there in New Orleans, you also are priests, ministers of the Lord. This is what the Lord wants from you. Verse 17, let the priests, the ministers of the Lord, weep between the porch and the altar. Let them say, spare thy people, O Lord, and give not thy heritage to reproach. I'm going to read that again because I know it went over your head. Zion is a place. Let the ministers of the Lord, the priests, weep between the porch and the altar. What's that? Well, that's at Zion, and I'm going to show you. Here's the holy place, right? Here's the porch. This is the holy place. You will see it in the video in the description box. I attached a video of my footage while I was at Zion. Here's the porch, and here's the altar. And what does that say right there? The Holy of Holies. I didn't do this. This is what the archaeologists got when they excavated the place in the 60s, right? When they found the Holy of Holies, they stopped digging because they were like, uh-oh, we can't excavate anymore, because if the Israelites find this place, their God is going to destroy us like he did the Egyptians in the Red Sea, right? So here's the porch, and here's the altar in the Holy of Holies. So the Lord wants you, the same way he did back in the old times, he wants you priests, you tribe of Levi, to stand in the holy place. Nobody's allowed in the holy place but you priests. He wants you to stand in the holy place, and when you get there, this is what he wants you to do, right? Let the priests, the ministers of the Lord, weep between the porch and the altar, and let them say, this is what you're supposed to say, spare thy people, O Lord, give not thy heritage to reproach, that the heathen should rule over them. Ain't that simple? That's all you got to do. Wherefore should they say among the people, where is their God? Ain't that simple? That's all you got to do. Because after you do this, this was going to happen. Then will the Lord be jealous for his land and pity his people. So until you do this, so-called Haitians, so-called Ghanaians, and Ivory Coast, and South Africans, and Zimbabweans, until you do this, God ain't going to be jealous for his land, and he ain't going to pity us. We're going to still be cursed and still be scattered, you so-called Haitians, because you are the priests of the Lord. So now, let's go back, right? The Holy of Holies. Back to this word Zion, okay? Let me see how much time.